Professor Biju John Vellakada, Afsan Abdul Samad, the very distinguished faculty, parents of achievers and the achievers themselves. For many of you in this room this morning, this is a very special morning. This is a morning of achievement. This is a morning of promises fulfilled. This is a morning where anything can happen and everything is possible. I got a request from my minister in the Ministry of Home Affairs. You know her as Aditi Miss. I'm confused about her last name. But then this was followed by a request from Professor Biju John Vellakada, and I couldn't, yeah, please applaud, please applaud. Before I start talking in terms of achievement, I want those achievers to please be up on their feet. Would you be able to stand up and applaud for your parents who have been the reason why you have achieved as much as you did? Can you be up on your feet? And can you, I'll tell you, this is what we do in IIM. We have what is called a 16 inches applause. 16 inches means your hands are separated from each other by 16 inches, and then you applaud for your parents. Can you do that? Can I hear it? Can I hear it? Yeah, there you are. There you are. You can join in. You guys can join in. Wonderful. Wonderful. No, please sit down. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm going to sum up the secret of all achievers in 3 simple sentences. These are 3 habits. One is the habit of the head, and that habit is called clarity. The second is the habit of the heart. This habit is called compassionate engagement. And the third is the habit of hands, which is commitment to excellence. So habit of the head, habit of the heart, and the habit of the hands. First, I'll come to the habit of the head. The word for it is clarity. What is clarity? Clarity is your natural state. You get up from a good night's sleep in the morning, and you get up and you feel clear. It's like a glass of water right here. Just see this glass of water. Crystal clear. But this glass can be contaminated. It can be polluted. You can add dirt. You can add anything to it. But the natural water is not polluted. What happens is the contaminations make it appear like a polluted glass of water. But if you remove the pollutants, you return to your natural state, which is clarity. I will define clarity in simple language. The clarity is less and less thoughts per minute. Lesser the thoughts you have per minute while you're doing anything, the more clear you will be. Think of Arjuna. Think of Arjuna. Arjuna is asked a question by his teacher, what do you see out there? Arjuna says, I see the eye of a bird. Don't you see the bird? No, only the eye of the bird. Don't you see the forest? No, only the eye of the bird. Don't you see the river passing by? No, only the eye of the bird. Arjuna is clear. The word Arjuna means clear. That's actually the meaning of the word Arjuna. Clear. So clarity is your natural state. But if you're somebody like Duryodhan, there are neutrons, there are protons, but there are also morons. Duryodhana is a moron. What does Duryodhana see? He sees not the eye of the bird. He says, you see this guy Bhima is scratching his chest. Yudhishthira has nothing to do. He's moving around here and there. I can see there's a forest there. But do you see something else? Oh, looks like a bird. He has got many thoughts. And therefore he is not clear. If you are not clear, if you do not know what your goal is, doesn't matter how good you are, you will not succeed. If Abdul Salam did not know which exam he is appearing for and where he needs to go, he would not succeed. right? And so clarity means the ability to break the bonds of thoughts that are useless. So I come here and one of you say, oh, this is Father Biju John. I say, I'm thinking of John. I'm thinking of John McEnroe. McEnroe is a tennis player. I'm thinking of a tennis ball. And then I'm thinking of Aloo Bonda, which looks like a tennis ball. It will be a good idea to have some Aloo Bonda this rainy morning along with some coffee. That's a good idea. Within 1 minute, 1 second, not even a minute, within 1 second, I move from Father Biju John to Aloo Bonda. This is useless thought. If I'm able to cut down those thoughts that are discursive in nature, that takes away from my focus, then I would be clear. But if I have those thoughts, those contaminations, think of a car mechanic. There's a car that has broken down in a desert, and the Arab sheikh says, well, can I call a mechanic? He gets a mechanic, and the mechanic looks at his car, which is stopped. The engine has stopped. He looks at the engine from many angles, from here, from there, and then with a little hammer, he gives one stroke of the hammer, and the engine starts. The sheikh says, oh, that's a good job. What is your fee? He says, $1,000. $1,000 for one stroke of the hammer? He says, no. $999 for the work I did and only $1 for the stroke of the hammer. So what is the work did you do? Just to be clear where to hit. Just to be clear. So that clarity is the most priceless thing that is what you can have. And if it is not there, think of trying to find your seat in a crowded auditorium like this, and you're going around, you're actually negotiating away, you don't know if there'll be a chair or not, you're confused. Finally, you go through the people and you find your own chair. So you already have clarity, but you are confused in your mind. So fundamentally, how does one get out of the confusion, of the pollutant of the mind? Because clarity is fundamental to understanding the mind in its natural state. It's capable of seeing much more, capable of doing much more. If you did not have those additional burden of thinking, if you're very clear. So 3 Zen monks are moving on a football field. One of them says, the flag is fluttering like this. He says, look, the flag moves. The second one is more clear. He says, no, it's not the flag that moves. It is the wind that moves. It is the wind that moves. The third one says, it is not the flag or the wind that moves. It is the mind that moves. If the mind did not have the ability to see relative movement, there would be no movement. Think of a time when people wanted to fly like birds. There were no aeroplanes. There were no rockets. They looked at a bird and he said, if I have feathers and wings, I can fly. So they actually added feathers and wings and jumped from cathedrals, from buildings, and they died. Then it took an Italian scientist called Bernoulli to discover what you call airlift, which is what makes bodies fly. So you call Bernoulli's principle is the basis of why we can fly today, right? So that is clarity. How do you attend to clarity? To clearing the garbage of your mind from time to time. How do you clear the garbage? By sitting with your thought, watching your thoughts, observing your thoughts. When your thoughts are moving away, when Father Biju John becomes Aloo Bonda, he's a generous man. He can take a joke. So why your thoughts that are discursive? Now, if you watch your thoughts, you will cut down on unnecessary thoughts. Watching thoughts is called meditation. Watching the mind is called meditation. Mind is a very interesting mechanism. So watch your mind as often as you can. The second element of achievement is compassionate engagement. A lot of people will tell you from the University of Unwanted Advices, UUA, follow your passion. Follow your passion. If you actually follow your passion, you will land in the mud with a thud. Because passion will take you only this far. Why? Only following your passion is not good enough. Because you have three other elements. Any human being, any achiever, any topper, any non-achiever, has all these four. Passion is one of them. You have reason, you have rationality, you have emotional competence, which is what passion is all about, and willpower, and you have ingenuity. Four elements: reason, emotion, willpower, ingenuity. It is a combination lock of four elements. So each one of us is a combination lock. You have to use those elements in the right manner, in the right proportion. Only passion will not be enough. So you need compassion. What is compassion? Passion for all. Passion for the large. Passion for something beyond yourself. There's this guy in the Ahmedabad railway station, he's polishing shoes, and you wonder why he's carrying a copy of the English version of the newspaper. If he can read in English, why is he polishing shoes? So you ask him, why are you polishing shoes? He's going to tell you. I'm carrying this newspaper because it serves me a purpose, something bigger than my polishing shoes. What is bigger? When somebody is bored with my polishing of shoes, I just hand him over the English newspaper. He reads it. He's not bored, and he pays me a tip as well sometimes. And so why does he carry the newspaper? Because he wants to serve the person in front of him. He doesn't want to bore the person while he's doing his job. You can see he goes beyond his job description, his ability, his role. And that is compassion. That is compassion. There's a story that sort of exemplifies compassion much better than anything else. So I'll share the story with you. There were two artists in a kingdom. Both were absolutely top-class artists. One was a master and one was his disciple. But the disciple had become equal to the master because he was a great artist. And the king said that we will honor only one of the two as the best artist of the kingdom. So what do? They have their followers. The followers are saying, well, artist A, the master, is the best ever. The followers of B, the student says the student is better than his master. So the king says, okay, let them both come and they will paint on two walls, white walls, like in a hall like this, two sides, white walls, and there will be a separator in between. They cannot look at each other. For 7 days they will paint the wall, and then a jury will come, they will remove the separator, they will compare, and the best will be declared then. So after 7 days, when the jury comes, they look at the student's painting first. And the student has done really well. He's a remarkable painter, the best in class. And so all of them said, wow, you can't compare this with anything. The master cannot reproduce this. So the king says, no, but we must see the master's painting as well. So they go to the master's painting on this side and say, oh my God, this is the same painting as that one. Identical painting. Except that this has more features than this one. So the king asked the master, how can you do something that your disciple has done exactly the same? He said, I know he is a great student, so I always believe in his capability. All I did was I did not paint anything. I simply polished my wall so that it looks like a mirror, and whatever he paints will get reflected here. This is compassion. To be able to reflect on the achievement of somebody who is not you is compassion. To be able to reflect on the achievement of an ex-student who has just joining the Indian civil services is an act of compassion. In the glory of students, the teachers feel proud. This is an act of compassion. Your engagement with the larger world has to be a compassionate engagement. Imagine a person you're talking to, a perfect stranger at a railway station. Imagine if he were to die tonight. Tonight he will die. How would you talk to this person? Would you make eye contact? Would you be kind with your words? Would you be generous? Probably yes. This is compassionate engagement. Because compassion is action. Compassion is action that always pays. Always has a result that is beneficial, both to the person who is acting out of it and to the receiver of that compassion. Finally, we'll talk about commitment to excellence. From the University of Unwanted Advice, somebody must have told you, try to be the best. Achievement is about being the best. That's a bad advice. You may imagine how many people want to be the best. Can you always be the best? No. I think you must give up the idea of trying to be the best. You must be as good as you possibly can be. Try to be good. Best is the enemy of good. I can be the best I can possibly be, right? If I do that, I will go somewhere. I may not be a McEnroe in tennis, but I'll go somewhere. I will be good. If you look at achievers, true achievers in life, their best came when they gave up trying to be the best. I'll give you two examples. One is Buddha, the other is Beethoven. One comes from the world of spirituality, the other one comes from the world of music. Buddha tried everything to be enlightened, he failed. He made the utmost effort and he failed. And then he sat under a tree, he says, well, I've done the best I could. I've reached the limit of my capability, now it's time to end my life, and then enlightenment came to him. When was Beethoven's best music? When he was deaf, he could not hear. He composed music when he could not hear himself. From his imagination, he composed music. And when he produced the best symphony, people were applauding in an auditorium like this. They continued to applaud, but Beethoven couldn't hear. And he produced his best symphony. He was not trying to be the best. He was trying to be as good as he possibly could. So in this Achievers Forum, I want to end with the story of Sylvie Berner, 1984 Olympian in diving. She said, when I took the dive, I did not read newspapers, I did not hear the radio, I did not listen to coach's advice, I did not talk to parents, I did not read newspapers, because they would always classify me in something or that. I was trying to give my best dive possible. Michael Phelps, who got 8 gold medals in the Olympic in 1984, he beat his next best by 1/100th of a second. You know, one of the swims that he did, he could not even see the lane because his goggles was full with water and he could not see anything. Yet he was giving his best. He was not trying to be the best. He was trying to be himself. You can only compete with yourself. You can only compete with yourself. And in the process, you will reach very far. Don't drop your standards. Don't drop your role models. But don't try to be the best. Because if you try to be the best and you cannot be so, you will end up with frustration. But if you try to be as good as you can, sometimes you may be the best. Sometimes you may not. Sometimes you may not. But in any case, you've tried your best. I'll end, as I always do, with the story of a woman who taught me commitment to excellence was all about. And she said, excellence is small work with great love. The woman's name is Mother Teresa. I asked her, what is small work, what is great love? She said, small work is your action. And great love is your intent. Whatever you do with greatest of intent. You pick up a glass of water, have your whole attention on picking up the glass of water. So excellence is not a peak performance. Excellence is what you do every day when people are not even watching you. You trust me, yesterday night I was preparing for this talk. I've given this talk 300 times. But I spent 2 hours just trying to figure out what I should be speaking to you. There was great intent, I made great effort, I may not have succeeded, but at least I made the best effort. So achievement is a continuous process, it is not one performance. And when you do small work with great love, you create a domino effect. You know what is a domino effect? A little effort here every day a little effort here to be better than yesterday, will end up with such a huge impact that you cannot even imagine. So how do you do small work with great love? You look at Abdul Kalam, the man who put India on the orbit, in the space orbit, but he put the idea of small work with great love before everybody else. So he died. Mr. Abdul Kalam's last speech was in IIM Shillong. Before he went up on stage, before Dr. Abdul Kalam went up on stage, he remembered something he missed last time. So he called the security guard and he said, look, last time you were here, you wanted a photograph of mine with your family. I missed that. So before I go up on stage, let's finish this job. So he called this guy and his family came and they took a photograph. And then he went up on stage while delivering a lecture, he passed away. He did not forget that small work that was yet left to be done. And with what great love he did it. That is all I have for this morning. Thank you.